Blackstone Publishing presents The New Space Opera 2, edited by Gardner Dozois and Jonathan Strahan. This book was read by Tom Weiner, Bahni Turpin, Caroline Shaffer, Richard Powers, Sean Runnette, Tom Taylorson, Hilary Huber, Marguerite Gavin, Exie Sands, Erica Sullivan, Neil Shaw, R.C. Bray, Lloyd James, Tristan Morris, Kevin Kenerly, and Terri Mcmahon.
Introduction. The true heart of science fiction has always been the space opera story, the thrilling adventure tale of powerful rocket ships, dashing heroes, and far frontiers, stories of immense scope and scale, color and action, taking us to the ultimate limits of both time and space. 2 years ago, when compiling the book that became The New Space Opera, we looked to present a snapshot of how the space opera story had evolved from what Bob Tucker had in 1941 contemptuously defined as the hacky, grinding, stinking, outworn spaceship yarn, to one of the most popular forms of science fiction of the 80s, the 90s, and the aughts, and one where much of the cutting-edge work in today's genre is being done. As we noted in the introduction to that book, starting in the early 1970s, writers on both sides of the Atlantic, Ian M. Banks, M. John Harrison, Barrington Bailey, Samuel R. Delany, Bruce Sterling, Werner Vinge, building on the work of earlier eras, from the 20s to the 60s, by such great pioneers as Edmund Hamilton, Lee Brackett, A. E. Van Vogt, Poul Anderson, Jack Vance, and many others, started experimenting with what had in some ways by then become an old and threadbare form, investing it with a much more rigorous approach to science, a greater depth of characterization, better writing, and an increased sensitivity to political realities. While old space opera continued, and continues, to be written, part of the established spectrum of science fiction, this new space opera caught the imagination of the reading public, and to this day many writers identified with the form are among the best-selling authors in the field. Our intention with compiling the new space opera was not to assemble a movement-defining book, a task that still remains to be done, in our opinion, but to map at least some of the territory covered by this sprawling and sometimes contradictory new form. The line between new space opera and old space opera, and just plain science fiction for that matter, is often subjective and hard to draw, and no two people draw it in the same place, providing a broad range of stories by some of the best writers working in the field at the time. And, of course, to provide as entertaining an anthology as possible in the process, one that would make the readers think that their money had not been ill spent. Much ink was
Sample complete. Ready to continue?